Well, hello there. Thank you for joining us once again right here in Good Morning Uganda, where we're coming to you live from the UBC Auditorium on this very first day of April 2021. I am joined by Mollen, Kenyena. Today being the first, what do you know about 1st of April 2021? Quite a whole new, I know I'm going to be hearing the most ridiculous stories, but I don't know. Good morning, Mollen.
A very good morning to you. I'm already excited about the day. I'm like, okay, it's April Fool's Day.
Yes, it is.
And there's a lot that always goes with this day. I can tell you one thing for sure. I've ever been fooled on this day. But
okay.
I've looked for the perfect moment to fool someone. It has just never clicked. I think I'm so bad at that. I'm not good when it comes to lying about something. Someone will get to know that I'm lying, so that's my struggle with this day.
I would tell you, every time 1st April comes through, people are ready mentally because they know something could actually happen. In fact, I'll tell you something, Mollen. The most dangerous thing is that you would actually be telling somebody the truth.
Yeah.
And somebody will not take you seriously because they believe you are honoring Fool's Day. So people are not gullible anymore, I will tell you for sure. They will probably think, this one is just on vibes, like they already say.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know if I'm going to fall prey this morning because I know it goes all the way till midday.
Yeah.
It can't go beyond that. So, I don't know. But have you had like really a bad experience before?
I have had, and it's like, it's the worst day to actually pass out important information because no one will take you serious. They will have to double check and see if what you're saying is actually right. I have been fooled a couple of times actually. I think once was that I got a job offer. So this person knew I wanted I wanted a certain job so badly, and they were like, you know what, this is the day you have to go take your papers, they finally need you to come. And you know, I'd applied and everything.
Yes.
So it was like related. So I just went, bumped on someone's office. I'm like, hey, Chara's office, I think they told me to bring my papers. She's like, what do you mean? Who? Where? Do you know what day this is? I think she was already aware. I'm like,
my
then that's when it
goodness,
clicked. I'm like, this person, and one of my best friends. So I was like, okay. Yeah,
it's really very embarrassing, by the way. And when you realize that you have fallen victim of being fooled, I don't know, it's quite an awakening, and you're thinking, how did I not even recognize this? But well, we're glad that this only stretches for only today. That's just about it, 1st of April. After that, whatever happens when somebody tries to fool you, maybe they just need to come up and face the consequences, because there are definitely consequences. But at least one thing for sure that will not fool you about is that right here in Good Morning Uganda, it's always a Good Morning Uganda Friday special edition, and obviously we are definitely here to make sure we give you the entertainment that you need, and also just give you some warm-ups as the weekend is already in the corner. So I mean, why not? It's been really a hard week, Mollen, I will tell you for sure. Quite a lot has happened. I was telling you a couple of minutes ago, I don't understand how this week flew by, but also I really had a crazy week. I need to reset myself. So I don't know whether you had the same experience as me.
Starting Monday, the whole week was just like disorganized. I don't know, it's like we've been pushing through. There's that one week that is kind of lazy, like every day you just have to struggle to make it go through, and that's how this week has been. Now I don't know about Friday, it's just starting, but it looks like maybe it could be some kind of silver lining.
Yes,
it looks like Friday will be good. I can tell you, with the smiles we started with right now, I hope no one fools us.
Well, but I also believe that some of the things that really made this week quite an uptight one was because we are still mourning the death of the fallen speaker, Jacob Oulanyah. And like we have been telling you during the course of the week, today is Friday, the 1st of April, and his body is expected to be in the country at least by 2 p.m. according to the plan that was brought to light by the Minister of the Presidency, that is Emily Babalanda. So of course, don't worry if you think you won't get this information. I want to differ. We'll be giving you all that here on UBC TV from the very start until the last function. Of course, that will be his burial. That will be happening next Friday. So this next week definitely is going to be full of all the services and everything definitely that you're sure you'll be getting to know from us here on UBC TV. But also, away from that, Mollen, I did discover that today is also Have Fun at Work Day. Now, you see, there are a bit two contradicting stories over there. And I don't know, work, some people have fun at work. Some people do what they love, while others are there to make money. I don't know where.
So where do you place the fun?
Yes.
So I think this. I hope my boss is listening. If we're talking about have fun at
Mollen, this
work,
is not going to get your salary increment, but all right, all right.
Just a little bit. You know, a figure is good to add there. But in any case, at least let's have fun. Maybe he can do something. Who knows? The day is just still young, and I think that, you know, to celebrate that with April Fools might kind of, you know, swim in. So they better prepare something. But you know what? You can have fun at work, by the way, especially if you're passionate about something you do. There is always time to have fun, and not just on this day, but on every day. If you are doing something and you have fun at it, that's the perfect work for you. Me, I'm a fan believer of, if you're doing something and you don't feel like you have fun or you're passionate, this is not a job for you. Like, keep looking, because once you get that job and you're excited and you have fun, even when you're performing at work, that's a job for you.
Well, by the way, if you're never having fun and not enjoying what you do, it is always portrayed by the results that come out. People can know this person loves their job. This one is a little bit sketchy, and they don't know where they belong. So make sure that whatever you're doing right now, you actually love it. Because if you're not, I've heard people say, apparently you're wasting time until you get to start loving what you do, or doing what you love. Definitely the results will be coming in. Now, speaking of results, obviously there's quite a lot that happened during the course of the week, but also there is a lot of stories that did make it to the news room yesterday, and both the local stories and also the international stories. Like we told you, a lot has been making headlines during the course of the week, and right about now we're going to delve into some of these stories, starting off with the local ones.
Well, and we will start it off with the state of security matters in the country, where President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has spoken out, saying that the security actors will have to beef up, and that he's saying Uganda will develop very fast if all security agencies do their roles correctly in fighting crime to ensure peace and stability of the nation. General Museveni was speaking to the staff of the External Security Organization at Marine Training College School in Butiaba, Wantembo Barracks in Bulisa district, where he passed out 62 ENSO trainees who have successfully completed their 10-month training course. Away from that, the Chief Justice of Uganda, Alfonso Owiny-Dollo, has visited the Katikilo Charles Peter Maiga at Bulange Mengo to discuss about the allegations of the slanderous utterances he made against the Kabaka of Uganda last week. The Chief Justice has asked for positive ties between Buganda and Acholi in an event where Interreligious Council of Uganda was in attendance. Now, in another story, the first Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister for East African Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, has dispelled fears that DRC's entry into East African Community will jeopardize the regional security. Kadaga says by joining the EAC, DRC will be party to numerous pacts of the community, including the East African Standby Force. Kadaga said this while updating journalists about the roadmap to be followed in the process of admitting the Democratic Republic of Congo into EAC bloc. Now, looking into Kampala, the newly appointed Kampala City Council Commissioner Nanziri Amina Lukanga has officially taken over office from his predecessor Hudu Hussein, who was transferred to Yumbe district under same responsibility. Now, Hussein, whose tenure came into during the hotly contested 2021 general elections, thanked President Museveni for entrusting him with such an assignment.
And on to the international news, more updates still coming in from the Russia-Ukraine war. And over here we have Zelensky warning Donbas attacks. The US says Russian President Vladimir Putin's demand that foreign buyers pay for Russian gas in rubles is a sign of desperation. Peace talks between Russia and Ukraine to resume online on Friday. Italy and Germany say they agree on importance of sanctions against Russia. Ukraine says there are no longer any outsiders at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. And President Putin is not the force he used to be, says Britain's defense minister. He's now a man in a cage he built himself. The Russian leader threatens to stop gas supplies to unfriendly countries if they don't deal in the Russian currency from Friday. Germany says it will study the details of the demand, but that there can be no political blackmail over gas imports. And in a rare glimpse of internal dissent, Ukrainian President Zelensky announces he has sacked 2 generals as they were traitors. And President Joe Biden has announced the release of an unprecedented 180 million barrels of oil from the U.S. strategic stockpiles. Ukraine's government is sending dozens of buses to Mariupol in a fresh effort to evacuate people and deliver humanitarian aid on Friday. Moving on to the Qatar World Cup 2022, well, criticism ill-informed, says tournament chief Hassan Al-Thawadi. Now, the Secretary General of the 2022 Qatar World Cup says criticism by players and managers has been ill-informed and the nation should not be apologetic about hosting the tournament. Qatar has been heavily criticized over the country's human rights record, and there are strict anti-LGBTQ laws in Qatar, while there are also concerns over the treatment of migrant workers. Now, some people have made statements that, in my opinion, were ill-informed. Hassan Al-Thawadi told BBC Sport. Speaking to BBC Sports editor Dan Rowan, Al-Thawadi added, "We should not be apologetic over our ambitions to host this tournament because we are a football-loving region. We are football crazy and football mad like anywhere else. We have the legitimate ambition to showcase our region to the rest of the world and to change people's perception of who we are." Now, homosexuality is illegal in Qatar, and human rights organization Amnesty International say women and LGBTQ people continue to face discrimination in law and practice. Well, these are issues of concern and they remain, and reassurance over the safety of the specific people in the Gulf nation have not been adequate. Moving to the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Parliament of the DRC has voted to remove the Economy Minister Jean-Marie Kalumba from his post. Now, a Wednesday motion blamed Kalumba for the soaring prices of basic goods and mismanagement of the fishing industry. It laid out a raft of complaints, including a lack of a policy to support local fishermen and frequent gas shortages driving up transport prices. Kalumba, who was nominated to his post last year by President Felix Tshisekedi, had 48 hours to resign. Last year, Parliament also pushed out then Prime Minister Sylvester Ilunga Ilukamba with a motion of no confidence. Rising fuel prices worsened by the COVID-19 pandemic and more recently the Russian invasion of Ukraine have sparked fears of increased social unrest, particularly in the country's remote eastern flank, which has endured years of violence.
In a weather and climate news, Australian floods where more rains add to the struggle of rebuilding. And last February, torrential rains hit the northern part of the Australian state of New South Wales, submerging the region under raging floods. Now, with residents still attempting to rebuild, the area has been hit again, leaving many in despair. I think if they had the choice, they would just leave, because a lot of them have literally just finished cleaning up their houses only to be flooded again, said Lismore chemist, owner of Kylie as he was speaking to Al Jazeera. Now, everyone was still raw from the other one, and it is as if the town had repaired. There is still quite a few thousands condemned homes and people displaced everywhere. When the rains came last month, Wood thought his shop would sit higher than the street above of the small flight stairs, and that would be safe. But as rains fell, Lismore and the other towns across the northern rivers, the official name for the region, were inadequate by the water, so deep that people had to climb onto their rooftops. Now, by 3 p.m. on February 28th, the level of Wilson River, which runs through the heart of Lismore and the area's main tributary, was 14.37 meters or 47 feet, more than 2 meters above the previous record high in February 1954.
Well, clearly we're not the only ones who are trying to struggle or who are struggling with the rains. And of course, this again zeroes back down to us, what we do, how we handling the climate. Mollen over here has been talking about climate. She's very, very passionate about it, and she's nice about it, but it's up to you to pick a lesson or two, Mollen, right?
Yeah, I don't know whether someone is listening, but I'm sure they are listening, because at least there is a time I was actually talking to some of the officials at the Ministry of Water and Environment, and someone was telling me, Mollen, you make us look bad. You're always talking about the bad things that are being done to our environment. How about the good things that we have done? Do you want to go through our archive and see what good we have done? I'm like, yeah, I'm aware of what good you've done, but it's not enough, clearly, if we are reporting about these events on a daily.
Yes.
And it's not just in Africa, it's not just in Uganda, but elsewhere, which means clearly something is wrong and someone has to do something.
Absolutely.
So when you have a voice that is constantly reminding you, please do the right thing, yeah, I think they should be able to do more. I'm not convinced yet.
Oh, well, I mean, you can't even blame Mollen, because sometimes when the bad things surpass the good things, definitely that we will know, the world will know, and we have to talk about them. But it doesn't take away the fact that you're doing the good things. It does not really dash them off, but they need to be brought to light. Well, it is Good Morning Uganda Friday edition happening right about now with me, Philomena, and of course, Mollen. We will be together all the way till the hour of 9 a.m. Of course, giving you all the information that you need, giving you the entertainment. And of course, much later on as the show goes on, we will be sharing with you the plan, the burial arrangements, of course, of the fallen Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah, as they have been laid out from Friday till next week on Friday. So make sure that you keep it here, because you don't want to miss any of the details. But also, we will be expecting your engagement in a topical conversation that we'll be having in the course of the next hour. Mollen, I'm sure you've heard this. You've been talking about it during the whole week, and it's not only us who have been talking about it, the globe in generally, rather in general. The slap, the infamous slap.
At this point, we are about to call it the famous one, because the rate at which people are giving opinions about this slap, it will be interesting to see the guest we're bringing in, what he has to say about this, because I know now people are going to take it to different angles. There is a spiritual angle.
Yes.
We'll have someone say, you see, according to the Bible. Then there are people who are like, no, this is a daily thing. It's okay to do it. And then someone is like, no, that should never have happened. There is no way he can do this. So it will be interesting to dive into this conversation.
Very interesting. And by the way, I am going to tell you, there is something, a lot of personality, character traits have been revealed by several of these celebrities. We have gotten to know their thoughts and their takes on certain things in this world just because of this slap.
Yeah.
Celebrities have come out, and I will tell you that I mean, society, the general globe, people are coming out to say, sometimes we see people thinking that they are sane, and until you get to know what they think about certain things, how they view certain things, how they interpret them. This slap, Mollen?
I think sometimes everyone has to realize that they have some kind of insanity deep down that comes out once in a while. Because guess what? Even after he did that, then later on, actually when he received the award, he got a standing all. Like, people were standing up for his
They actually gave him a standing ovation.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, so no one is minding that this guy just a few minutes ago did something bad. Everyone has some kind of insanity somewhere.
Mollen you can clearly tell where Mollen falls in this case, but we'll be getting into the discussion in the next hour. Discipline amongst our celebrities. Basically, that is what is going to shape the conversation in the next hour. But also for now, we're going to be giving you some good music as a Friday. So yes, we are trying so hard to make sure that we fit in the mood, even when we know there's quite a number of misfortunes happening and going on in the country, and it's just a somber mood over here. But yes, once in a while, you just need to find a hole that will bring in some happiness as all these badness and the bad energy surrounds us. Good Morning Uganda Friday edition will be back right after this break.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by
Their job is to keep you and me healthy and well. But sometimes they try in vain.
How to get points? Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Are your children ready to learn? Schools are open. As parents and guardians, it is your duty to ensure that your children go back to school. COVID-19 prevention measures have been put in place to keep students safe as they go back to school. Not only do teachers prioritize everyone's health, including their own, but they discourage violence among students. They also ensure that students follow SOPs. Any concerns are reported to a school administrator or senior woman or man teacher for correction and further guidance. Dear parents and guardians, you too must play your role. Ensure your children always maintain a 2-meter distance from others, avoid crowded places, regularly wash their hands with soap and water, and wear a washed and clean face mask that covers their mouths and noses. Please keep your children at home if they're feeling sick, and take note. In our effort to keep students safe, there are no visitation days or any other school visits allowed. Let's share knowledge, not COVID-19. This message is supported by the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education and Sports, and UNICEF. Stay safe.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or gift.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
When COVID came, it felt like it destroyed everything my mom had built. She was ready to let go of her dreams. But when one door shuts, a window opens. She grabbed her last command and took a leap of faith. She refused to give up. So with a bit of daring and Grandma's secret recipe, her business was back. And not just bigger, beyond her wildest imagination.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you, or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's 1 minute past the hour of 7 a.m. right here on Good Morning Uganda Friday edition. Thank you for joining us once again. And like I promised you in the previous hour, there's quite a topic that we're going to be discussing from very many angles. And that is the famous slap that did happen in the course of last week. Now, if you follow the Oscars, you know that at the Oscars that were recently held last week, we did have quite a debacle, if I should say, where we had one of the famous comedians called Chris Rock, who was trying to, try to break the ground and make fun. And he did cross boundaries from what we actually think. And he did quite make some very unfunny statements concerning a family of a renowned actor, Will Smith, about his wife, that is Jaden Smith, who, by the way, is going through a medical condition called alopecia. And well, that did not sit well with the man who decided to act on impulse. And I don't know whether he did make a decision to act on impulse or he acted out on impulse. And he walked up to the stage and he smacked the man's face. Now, this slap has been talked about by the rest of the world. And this video, as I can tell you, has had about 84 million views in just 3 days. Now, of course, 3 days like this, so a lot of discussion has come out, and I will tell you, this morning we want to, talk about the discipline in public amongst our celebrities, even in general, and also defending your family. How far are you willing to go? And that right there is where I will introduce to you our guest, special guest today, that is Pastor Cyrus Ro. Thank you for joining us, Pastor.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm also joined by Mollen, Kenyena, and we'll be getting into this. But first, Pastor, let's just talk about this slap. If you were the one, how would you have reacted? If you were the one, I don't know if you were the one who was being smacked or if you were the man whose wife was being, made fun of. How would you have reacted in both scenarios?
Now, both scenarios, let me begin with the receiving side.
Yes.
Now, the receiving side, the best thing is to hold back. What Chris Rock did was so mature compared to the one who slapped him. So you hold back, because what makes a man is so much about how you can control your passions, how you can control your appetites, how you can control your affections. If you cannot control your passions, your appetite, your affections, then you are literally a moving wreck. You're going to happen somewhere. Because your success is in the ability to control your passions and your appetites. If you don't, you're like a city without walls. In the old days, cities were built with walls around them so that you would prevent any intruders from coming in. So you would have walls around you. Now, when you cannot control your passions, your appetite, you're like a city without walls. That means anything can come in. Anything. Yes. And this is where you meet most of the guys. Anything works. Anything comes in. Because they don't know how to say, no, that's not mine. Yes. This is not mine. They will let everything in.
It's really, really, really sad. Mollen, if you were the one, I could actually say, if you were the one, say maybe your husband is being insulted in public, what is the most that you could do to the person who is insulting your husband?
I feel like my first impulse would go on definitely defending my husband.
Okay.
Because guess what? It is going to get to you to see this person that you care about being, they're telling you all these things about them, and you know that this is something that should be, personal. So there is an impulse that will lead you to do something. Now, would I have gone up to that extent? I don't know. I don't know. But what I know is, in one way or the other, yes, I would feel the need to stand up for them. Yeah.
But in this scenario, actually, the most...
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Can I react? You're talking about the impulse, and that's what you started with.
Yes.
Most people act on impulse, but you need to have that in control. One of the things I don't believe is that Will Smith was not defending the wife.
Okay.
No,
okay, that's interesting now.
This is interesting. What do you think he was doing?
No, Will Smith has a problem with his anger. It's an anger problem. You get me?
Yes.
It's a passion problem. He doesn't know how to control himself. Now, if he knew that what he was doing was rational enough, he would not backtrack and start apologizing.
Okay.
But he apologized because he realized I did something stupid.
Yeah.
No, so he was not defending the wife. And I know you ladies will go like, oh yeah, Will Smith.
He was doing the most. He was trying to defend his wife.
No, he has an anger problem. You get me?
Yes.
You see, when a man begins beating up fellow man in public, and you're the wife and you think, wow, he really loves me. You know, you wait for your turn.
But you know, it actually, if he was doing this consistently, because this is the very first time he was doing it. Yes, so maybe we can give him a benefit of doubt.
Give him the benefit of doubt. How? Why did he backtrack?
No, because he realized this is something that had come out, and then he stood back and was like, okay, Chris Rock has been a friend, because if you look back, these guys have been working together. And he was like, okay, I shouldn't have gone that far. He had to apologize. And
I shouldn't have gone that far.
Yes.
That means whatever I did never worked out to defend my wife. It never worked out to defend her. You see, look over here. You go to a monkey dance, you're going to expect tails in a monkey dance.
All right.
So you go over here, this guy does his thing professionally as a comedian, stand-up comedy.
Yes.
And then he comes up with his jokes, G.I.J., and then when he brings them onto the scene, then you're like, you love, or you chuckle about it, then you stand up.
All right.
And you go and you smack the guy. And then you come out, yeah, I'm the man. No, you're the boy.
He actually first laughed at the joke. And then he sat back. And I think there is a lot of exaggeration about the fact that he looked at Jada, and then Jada wasn't happy. He's like, oh, okay, now I have to do something.
Maybe I need to do something about it. Anyway, well, okay, now that is looking at it from the side of Will. And now we're thinking, because right now we're assuming that maybe it was not because he was defending the wife. But now let's talk about family. You're a family man, Pastor Cyrus. You're a family man.
Yes,
you are in a public setting, because this was a public setting.
Yes.
And somebody's actually trying to poke fun at your wife. And I mean, she has a medical condition, alopecia, but also let's imagine a scenario where it was nothing about the medical condition. You know, you're just making general fans. This is my wife. You're practically making fun of her, you're disrespecting her before me, but even the entire world, because everybody's watching. What is the most that, well, what would be the ideal way you'd probably advise that he handled this situation as opposed to being violent?
You know, if that guy had kept calm and quiet.
Yes.
Because number one, the greatest upload or any kind of confidence a woman will get is from the husband, not from the world, not from strangers. You see, if Will Smith makes a joke of his wife, the wife will be affected more. If Will makes a joke of a stranger, the stranger won't really be bothered.
Okay.
You see, if you're married and then your husband begins making a joke of you all the time and calling you names, it will destroy your confidence.
Yes.
So bad. If a stranger does that, it will be probably about 1%.
Really?
You get the picture?
Yes.
So now here is a stranger who's doing this stuff. It's a stranger. The best thing is for Will to say, hey, sweetie, how are you? You know what? I really appreciate you. I really love you, and I'm going to be there for you. You turn to your wife. You know what? Because strangers, they mean nothing. What really matters to her is you and what you say. Then you don't go around and slap people and beat them up. Then you say, did you see me? No. In fact, that doesn't work. Now, you know what? You got a problem in your hands. This man doesn't know how to control himself.
You could actually say it's an eye-opener. Maybe you have not been dealing with the right things with him concerning about his character.
About his character, but now he's apologizing everywhere. And oh, please forgive me. Then after that, I mean, you're dealing with a problem.
Yes.
You have a problem. This is a guy who, if you're going to look back, he says, well, we believe in open marriage. And you don't even understand what this guy, he doesn't even understand what marriage is.
Yes.
Because what's open marriage? That stuff doesn't work. That's where I've failed to control my passions, but I'm creating an atmosphere where I can justify my loose living.
I'll tell you personally, I believe that, and actually I really want to concur with you, I believe that there were underlying issues that could have actually pushed him to do this. Maybe he was reacting towards different issues, but you know, when you're given a platform like this, I mean, why not? Why would I not take, you know, make use of it and, you know, just unleash my anger? I believe there were quite some, unresolved issues. But Mollen, maybe it's pushing to Chris Rock's side. Now, this is the media industry, all right? You have to do what you have to do to make sure you survive. This guy is a comedian. He's an international, he's a renowned comedian. I mean, he will poke fun. He picked quite a number of people from the audience, and this is not the first time he's done it. But even looking at our Ugandan comedians, I've had a chance to watch some of the skits online and see there are some specific people who do that, who have taken that line of, comedy, and they poke fun and all that. But again, we need to look at the regulation, the discipline. Would you actually say the Ugandan media industry, especially the key players, are disciplined enough? Do we have some things we just do overboard, or do we not have any discipline at all if you're looking at the general media industry in Uganda?
Well, we've had at least a good trend when it comes to people knowing their line. And I think if we specify to comedy, comedy is an art. And that's for sure. Because the moment you take it as a joke, just a joke, then you're not an artist. But comedy, people put a lot of efforts into making these skits. It's actually something that one goes on stage when they have planned their scenes.
Yes.
While you see them out there making one joke after the other, they have actually laid back and they know what to do after this. So this is an art. And when you're not creative enough, then that's where the indiscipline comes in. Because we do have a lot of comedians here. We even pick up on big figures, big personalities. We do have, I will give an example of Mendo Museveni, who has played a character of the president of Uganda for a while, but the line that he takes is where you see the difference, because while he's mimicking the president of the country, he knows exactly what to say. You're not going to pick up on the wrong things or whatever is, being funny, personal stuff. He doesn't pick on that. But because when you think about comedy, you have to make people laugh. So do something that is actually laughable. But when you become this kind of person who is talking about the negative things and then it's hurting someone, then that's where you have to draw the line. And we also had recent events where there were a lot of public figures coming online, especially with social media, bullying, bringing up a lot of stuff. And UCC did actually come up to say some of these things should be regulated, and if there is a show out there probably doing injustice and hurting people, then let it end. So I think there is more that we need to do in terms of regulating what different artists do. However, it's also going to have to be upon people realizing that what they are doing is an art. They have to be creative enough to know that this is where I draw the line. Okay. If you don't do that, then the industry will lose meaning.
And but I will tell you also one thing. I believe that we, the public, the people who consume this kind of comedy, maybe we are the ones who give them the go-ahead. I mean, look at Chris Rock. This is not the first time he's speaking on people. Even our very own Ugandan comedians, I know some specific names where every single time they're having a performance, they will actually pick on people, every performance. And the fact that we laugh about this, we seem to be very happy about, we seem to be very entertained. Do you actually say we are the ones who encourage them to go on doing this and this, even when we know that it could go wrong? Well, Will Smith did what he did, but I mean, I'm pretty sure there are very many other people who would want to do that, but they don't have the courage, or they are able to control their So do we actually, are we the ones who encourage them to do what they do?
I think I would say yes and no. Are we the ones who encourage such people? Yes and no. Yes, when we begin laughing, even when they come up with these coarse jokes, lewd stuff, and vulgarity, and we laugh about it, we encourage them. On the other hand, the no is, I make a choice on how I'm going to take my career as a comedian. Am I going to come up with this nonsense all the time, or am I going to take my stand and say, I'll stay clean? So it's a yes and no. Yes, when we keep saying, woo-hoo, yeah, go ahead. And then no, when you say, no matter what the crowd does, I'm going to do what really benefits everybody.
Okay. All right. Now, Pastor, I love this at the set that you did talk about anger. You actually highlighted that this could be Will Smith's problem.
Yeah.
Maybe we talk about anger. I mean, we've seen people angry at our workplaces, in marriages, everywhere. Society has a lot of angry people. But maybe if we are to get into the real depth of what causes some of these. Are they anger issues from childhood? Is it something that you pick on as you grow? Maybe it's a social problem. Maybe it's caused by what is happening in the given situation. What causes this anger?
I think when you talk about anger, first and foremost, there's the good and there's the positive and the negative. Okay?
Yes.
And the negative is more destructive. It's actually very destructive. The positive, I'm using it to stop the wickedness, you know? And with the positive, I can even hold back. When you come in and you try to provoke me, I can hold back. You get me? I can hold back. And when I come out and I'm like, no, this shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't be happening. I don't have to go and lose it and do all that kind of stuff. You talk about the causes, the underlying conditions. I think the number one underlying condition is rejection. A feeling that I'm not wanted.
Yes.
A feeling that I'm not loved. Because every human being wants to be loved.
Absolutely.
Unconditionally. Okay? Mark that last word, unconditionally.
Yeah.
Every human being. Now, when I come out and I meet you or talk to you, the first thing I'm going to begin, for example, if it's about the guys, I come in and I say, hey, my name is Cyrus. What's your name? And then I begin, you know, talking about myself and talk about I really pump myself up. You know, I just came back from Germany and my mama just showed up. I was actually with my father in his private jet. And, you know, I talk about all these things. And then you will look and say, wow, this guy must be real. He must be loaded.
Yes.
He must be the guy that I've been looking for. But you know what? I'm still putting up a facade. Then if you say, you know what? I don't want you.
Oh, wow.
Okay? You don't do what? I just said I don't want you. Who are you? Who are you to say you don't want me? Wait, now
How
my
dare you
real
not want
colors
me?
come up. What has been happening is I've been trying to project an image that you would buy into. Okay?
Yes.
And then if you're not buying into my image, my real problem comes out. What is it? Being loved unconditionally. I'm suffering from rejection. I want to be loved unconditionally. Now you're telling me you can take me even with all this CV that I brought your way. You can take me. I mean, I'll lose it. So the real cause of this weird anger is love. Without love unconditionally, I'm suffering from rejection. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to belong. Okay?
Yeah.
So if I notice I'm not belonging, I'll use the example of our friend Will. It's a problem of lack of a sense of belonging.
Yes. Considering the settings of his marriage as well. I mean, an open marriage.
Open marriage. What do you mean by an open marriage? You know, I want to belong. I want to be accepted. So when I come to you and you don't accept me, I react. I'm going to come against you hard. I'm going to come against you bad. And most of you ladies, you know what? You may even say, oh yeah, he's real, but then down the road you'll think, I don't like this. But you're too scared to tell him that I don't like the way things are going. And so what do? You drag yourself along the way. And when you get married, you're like, but I saw the red lights.
And I did not do anything
and I did not do anything about it. But where was the problem? You were afraid of rejection. So when you can't overcome the sense of belonging, that means you fail to overcome the fear of rejection, then anger is going to roll in your life forever and ever until you come to the place where I belong and I'm accepted. Because when I belong and I'm accepted, I have identity. So if I come to you and I say, hey, I would like to marry you, and you say, hey, you know what? You're not my kind. I'm like, I respect that. Thank you so much.
Is that something that really comes off easily? Because I know a couple of men and women who just do not know how to react towards rejection, because it's quite a hard paper. I will tell you for sure.
Yeah, it's a hard paper.
Even personally, I don't know how I would deal with I hate rejection. I am one.
No, that's exactly what I've been talking about.
I don't know how easy it is to deal with rejection. Maybe you could just
this
take
is how you got to do it. In order to deal with rejection, you got to have a sense of belonging.
And who gives you that sense of, you give it yourself, the people you surround yourself with?
You can't give it to yourself. You gotta get it from somebody. Somebody's gotta own you.
We love being owned.
Pastor brings out a good point.
Yes.
Because this is kind of a realization from yourself, for sure. So once you don't have that self-esteem in knowing that, okay, it's okay to be rejected, not because of who I am, probably this person
it's just not it for me. I'm not it for them.
This is not my person. And I think a lot of people struggle along the same line, especially, I'll say, the men. He will come up with all this, and once you tell him, you know what, you're not for me, they'll look at you as if you're the stupid one, because I have all this in my life and I am the perfect person for you, but how come you're rejecting me? So it kind of like goes back to them not feeling like maybe this is not what she wants. And I think we also, now that we're talking about this famous Will Smith and Jada, these guys have had issues. And it's no secret that last year we're dealing with the same thing about Jada having taken to public on how she cheated on Smith.
Yes.
And this also went public. And he had to deal with that. Like, imagine your wife is just on national TV talking about the fact that, she cheated on you or something that was scandalous. He dealt with that. And now he's had to deal with it. I don't think he even dealt with that,
but okay.
Yeah. And that's what Pastor was talking about.
Yes.
He probably didn't deal with this issue. And then he is in this marriage with Jada, and she's this kind of strong, powerful woman who doesn't believe in you have to matter. So they're just in a family, but her voice matters a lot. So this guy is even afraid to probably analyze these issues, and now he's taking it out in the public.
Could we actually say that he's had a lot that has been happening in his life, and the anger, the problems, the ridiculing by the public has just been escalating, and this was one of the ways he could put it out there, because we saw him give a teary speech after that, and showing how apologetic
he was. No, he just doesn't control his emotions. He doesn't know how to control them. He's got an anger problem. And now when you see people that have this anger problem will go up there and cry, and you'll think, oh, sorry.
Isn't that some sort of manipulation? Isn't that manipulation?
That's what is called manipulation. Because every time you want to call me out, then I play you with my emotions. I play victim.
Yeah.
Now look at how this happened. Chris smacks the brother, and who becomes the victim? Smith.
Wow.
Everybody is going to Smith to comfort Smith. I'm thinking, are you guys crazy? Because the world is just full of boys and girls. Well, we need some men and women. Now, Denzel stands up. Oh, we got to comfort Will. I mean, all these guys, Cooper, we got to comfort Will. Then you bring in Tyler Perry. Oh, sorry, Will. No. Hold the boy accountable. Hold the boy accountable. He beat his fellow man over there, and he's crying and, oh, comfort him. No, he's manipulating every one of you there. Stand up and say, nobody's going to shake your hand. You got to take responsibility.
No, but maybe, Pastor, they were coming to him actually in the sense of, this guy is not okay. We have to find out what's going on. They knew that what he did was not fine, and this is not Will. So they are coming to him saying, oh, maybe he's not fine. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Maybe this guy is mentally, he's on a mental breakdown. We need to help. Maybe they were coming to him.
All I know is that every action has consequences. What he did, he definitely had to, come to be punished for it, because there was quite a lot of argument and conversations, especially coming in from people. They were putting the academy, the organizers, how do you not hold Will accountable for it? You actually let him stay in there, and he did receive his award. He even got a standing ovation, and you didn't bother to even call security. If somebody else had done that, probably it would have been way worse than that. And of course, it was just a couple of days after we saw the Oscars, I mean, the organizers of the Academy Awards come out to say, look, we actually did ask this man to leave, but he did not leave. But I mean, I feel like that was guilt and all that. Again, we're yet to see, because this is still stretching all the way. People are coming in with all their opinions, and I'm telling you, definitely will come to the root of this. But also, let's talk about maybe self-control, Pastor. You did talk about self-control. This is something, this is a discipline that a very, very small set of people have. And probably just to ask you, why is it so hard to be able to control yourself, especially in moments like this when you're really overtaken by the sadness or, you know, anger, or even emotions, or even when you overly love somebody, there is just a way you lose it. Why? Why?
You know, I think I really believe that the reason people find it hard to control self is that in such moments, the self is saying this is the best way to handle things.
Yes.
You know, self comes out and says, you can have it. Nobody should stop you. Nobody should stand in your way. Go ahead. Now that's what it tells you. And when you listen to it, you regret later. You know, because it tells you, you gotta do it. Now it's like a married man. And then you meet a young lady, and then she's like, I'm all here for you. And what does self tell you? You go get it. Go get it. And if you listen to self, you're going to regret it. But you got to stand and say, no. I have the ability to choose what is going to be beneficial.
Yes.
Okay? So no matter the pressure of the impulses, passions, and appetites, what is beneficial? What am I profiting from sleeping with 10 women? What am I profiting by being unfaithful? When you ask yourself that, you will always have an answer, and at the end of the day, you're actually getting nothing. You're just being selfish. That is all.
Yeah.
So if you step out in anger, you're wondering, what am I going to get?
Yeah.
Nothing. You know, at the end of the day, it's nothing. That's why Will is in tears and apologizing and apologizing, and it's confusion now.
Yes.
But at that moment, self say, you gotta do it. Oh yeah. And
well,
guess
the work he did, I don't know if I'm not a pro at body language or whatnot, but the work he did after smacking the gentleman as he was going back to, you know, he said, it looked like a powerful walk, and he was really proud. You know, the body language just gave away a lot.
That's true.
About what was going through his mind and his body, and like, I did it. So
and then
I think
minutes later, or hours later, he goes,
he's apologizing.
I'm sorry, I didn't do it. I'm sorry. This wasn't the best I could do. I regret it. So that's where self-control is so much needed. No matter how much you practice, let me tell you, the greatest success you will ever have is not in being a billionaire.
Yes.
It's in the ability to control your passions.
The moment you gain the control, you're good to go.
Man, you're good to go. You're ruling the world. You're ruling the world. Look at people we call great, and they just can't control their passions. They just can't control their passions. Anything in the drives that come up in them, they'll just yield. They'll just yield. And chaos is all you see. But if a man can control his passions, do you know how admirable and how attractive that man or woman can be? You know, because he's always in control.
Yes.
He's not crazy. He's not lost it. Like we say, oh, I lost it. Why did you lose it?
In the first place.
In the first place. Control it.
Well, as we come to the end of this, maybe just to find out from you, Mollen, especially when it comes to the media industry, how do you think we can cultivate discipline in the media industry?
Well, I think people should be able to speak out, and this should be done by roles at least that are there, because I'll give you an example of here in Uganda. We did have a media personality, a public figure who came out to condone something, but then she went to UCC. And instead of taking it like on social media or even physical, but you go and say, this is wrong. This particular person is talking ill about me, or they're actually abusing me in a way. And that was handled. So I think we have to develop this kind of platform where we're able to speak out but also take it to the responsible persons, because the moment we do that, then we can address even it did help out a lot of people who were going through the same, but they were unable. But you as a media personality, you as a celebrity who has a voice, if you take it, then at least it will have more meaning, and you're helping others to also do that.
Okay.
Because while we look at, for example, how Jada reacted herself, I think all she did was go on social media and she was like, this is a month of healing and I'm healing.
Yes.
There is nothing there. There is nothing in that message. So you have a lot of people following, but then you need to give them something, an inspiration. So if, you know, maybe as a collective they came out as a family and they say, you know what, maybe there's a lot we're dealing with right now, and we have to take a time off and deal with it, even off social media, people would have respected that. So I think that people have issues for sure, and we've already, you know, put that across.
Yes.
The way to deal with it is not take it to the public or even take it on anyone. There has to be a channel where you're going to be helped.
All right, all right.
Can I just take a few seconds and just, you know, supplement with what you're saying? When you talk about these celebrities in Uganda and all this, I think we need to grow up where we can take criticism. Okay? Because if somebody comes in and says, hey, Cyrus, you drunk yourself silly and you fell on the road, and I come up and say, I'm tired of people speaking ill about me. Did I drink myself silly? Yes, I did. Did I fall on the road? Yes, I did. Now, when somebody calls me out, it's not that they're attacking me.
Yeah.
I should learn as a person or a celebrity, a person in public eye, to literally learn how to set standards that will benefit. And if anybody calls me out, I should not throw a tantrum and say they're attacking me.
Well, but what if they said, look, you drank yourself silly just like your dead father?
See if they're making comparisons.
Because then they are attacking
just like
you.
My dead father.
Or they're even dragging your family into your character.
Now let me tell you something. The best thing I can do is it can be the same problem that I'm carrying it from my father. And I should not lose my head over that. Just like my dead father, I better stop and say, my father died because he was drinking silly. So I better stop this.
I can't keep doing this, yes.
But if I keep doing it and say, don't drag my daddy in here. No, no, no. Your daddy drank himself silly, so we better clean this up.
Oh, well, there you go. I think at the end of the day, we need to make sure that we, you know, at least acquire certain disciplines, how to handle, how to control yourself. Because, I mean, this is a society we live in, and people will provoke you. People will drive you nuts. People will say things that will just drive you over the wall. People will do things that you won't believe. But also, we need to learn how to accept criticism. Even if it's negative criticism, well, you can try to make it positive. At the end of the day, you're really saving yourself. You're not saving the rest. Well, that's it from this morning's discussion. But good morning, Uganda. Friday special edition is still happening. And also, just to remind you, we're still mourning the death of the fallen Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah. And the burial arrangements are definitely in. We are expecting his body in the country later on today. And we'll be giving you the entire burial arrangements from today all the way till Friday next week, right here on Good Morning, Uganda. We'll be back shortly.
When COVID came, it felt like it destroyed everything my mom had built. She was ready to let go of her dreams. But when one door shuts, a window opens. She grabbed her last command and took a leap of faith. She refused to give up. So with a bit of daring and Grandma's secret recipe, her business was back. Not just bigger, beyond her wildest imagination.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, Visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Are your children ready to learn? Schools are open. As parents and guardians, it is your duty to ensure that your children go back to school. COVID-19 prevention measures have been put in place to keep students safe as they go back to school. Not only do teachers prioritize everyone's health, including their own, but they discourage violence among students. They also ensure that students follow SOPs. Any concerns are reported to a school administrator or senior woman or man teacher for correction and further guidance. Dear parents and guardians, you too must play your role. Ensure your children always maintain a 2-meter distance from others, avoid crowded places, regularly wash their hands with soap and water, and wear a washed and clean face mask that covers their mouths and noses. Please keep your children at home if they're feeling sick, and take note. In our effort to keep students safe, there are no visitation days or any other school visits allowed. Let's share knowledge, not COVID-19. This message is supported by the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education and Sports, and UNICEF. Stay safe.
Good morning, Uganda. We're still going. Remember, we are running live on YouTube, so you can make sure that you catch up all the way. And, you know, maybe in regards, Mollen, I'll tell you one thing. In regards to the conversation we're having, there are some things that are actually still hitting me hard from what Pastor Rod said. Yeah. He actually did talk about anger issues. And the way he explained the scenario, you know, it's actually the man was not, you know, acting because he was defending his wife. It was anger. I told you there are very many underlying issues. This man here seemed like he was disturbed, and by the fact that maybe he didn't have a way of, you know, reacting towards this announcement that was, and the revelation that was made by the wife last year in the public's eye. Yeah. He just didn't know how to deal with it because he won't beat the woman, he won't do nothing. So, and he knows there are very many people looking up to him. He just decided to harbor the anger in. What would you do when you're very angry? What do you think you do? Are you the kind that usually acts with impulse as well, or you know how to deal with your anger issues?
Well, for me, I always have that impulse, and that I think I have figured out about myself, but also it is something that you get to work on as an individual.
Yes.
Because obviously this is not the way to go. There is always going to be something that provokes you, but how you handle it after that, are you going to be regretting it? So in my mind, I always first think, okay, this is something I could regret. And when that comes up, I'm like, no, so I shouldn't do it. But obviously these guys have been having issues, and they have been brought up in this, I want to say, white culture. They are
Yes.
blacks, but they're in this white culture where there are things you don't do. But guess what? We have also encouraged, and that's why we were talking about this, we have also encouraged these kind of guys.
Yes.
Have you seen comedians here in Uganda? They will go on stage and talk about you when you're in the audience.
Talk about
And
how
you
you're
will-
dressed. Talk about
Exactly.
the hair you're probably having in that given moment. Just talk about
They
everything.
will shame you, they will body shame you, they will talk about everything, and just because we think they are making jokes, we let them. But hey, I think this was also a good check to them. There should be a line.
But you see,
Guys,
the
better
thing
look
that really
out.
beats me is that these two have been friends. They've worked on several projects together. I was looking at the history of their friendship, and they've really come from way, way back. And
14
considering that they're,
years.
considering that they're two black men, we know the solidarity that goes on, especially in the black community over there. We know blacks are for blacks. They really fight so hard to protect each other. Seeing a fellow black man walk up to a podium and smack the crazy out of another black man.
It was crazy. That's
I'm
why
still
you
trying
had-
to, I can't even fathom it. Like, it's been a whole week. I'm still trying to process it.
So you had the likes of Denzel as well, Black, Tyra Perry come up to them and they're like, okay, these are black guys. We need to find out if this guy is okay, because this is not something that, you know, they were looking forward to, but it has happened. But like, hey, guy, what's happening? What's with you? Yeah.
I don't know. One day, I have a feeling that one day in Uganda, one of our comedians will actually go through this. I pray it does not happen, but I am not trying to incite violence. No. I strongly condone violence, but I mean, we've also seen several things happen. They were not exactly, you know, really like violent beating and all that. But I'll give you a scenario. We had you remember the Gen Z Awards? We had somebody walk up to the stage and they were asking for their money. They were demanding. Again, I believe that is some sort of violence, because the manner in which they did it, you could see the body language, anger management was clearly, it was wanting. So really, if things like that are happening the next time, and I mean, we've also had artists fight on stage in Uganda here. They're having a concert somewhere and they're fighting and they're fighting the revelers. I know they will provoke you because some fans are really crazy. They will do very disturbing things to you.
At one point we had, I think, where a situation where Vinka had to defend herself, and she was like, no, I'll not take this. She did that to the fans. So I think, I'm wondering, do we have shrinks in this country? We need some kind
Someone
of
will tell you
counseling.
that, Ugandans going
We
to
need
a
to
shrink.
go for-
They don't believe that. They
People
don't
need
believe in
help.
that.
People need help, Philomena. You have to go to the doctor if you feel like your anger management cannot be controlled or you have issues with reacting. You need a doctor.
I will tell
Please
you
look
what
it out.
Ugandans, shrinks do quite a very, very good job, and it's they are very relevant, because right now we are in times where mental health is really, really taking a toll on us. Very many things have happened to us. We've gone through a lot as individuals. So yes, sometimes you need somebody to go and talk to. You rant, you vent, a professional person, and they help you out. But Ugandans, they will tell you, no, I will remain with my psychological issues. I will handle. But I mean, people need to start taking on these courses.
Black
They could
people
come
in
handy.
general, black people in general don't believe in counseling. I am telling you, they will be like, what? Go tell my problems to someone?
How dare I?
How do I
That is
expose
stripping myself of all the respect that I've gathered over these
Exactly.
years. But it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. Look for that psychologist. Talk to them. It actually does help. You need to lessen your problems, your mental issues, because we've seen a lot that comes. We know what happens when all these problems keep accumulating, and you need to deal with them. We still need you alive and healthy mentally and physically. Well, taking a look at what is happening in our papers this morning, starting off with the Daily Monitor. Mandatory PCR COVID-19 tests at Entebbe maintained. Now, of course, we know that this was for the people at the borders, okay? But at the airport, you still do have to take that mandatory PCR COVID-19 test. And government cuts Oulanyah barrier budget. Again, this was a story that did quite cause a number. It did a number on very many Ugandans. We saw very many people complain and like, this is really, really too ridiculous. It's big.
The figures were up there.
Yeah, we had also the IG come in to actually investigate how do we have such an enormous budget. Well, it has been cut again, and all these details of course are in the Daily Monitor. And then we also see some bit of maturity and remorseful actions after the Chief Justice Nyonyintono apologizes to Uganda. This was also another big story, by the way, this week, and it caused a lot of commotion. And of course, in the special reports, M23 attack awakens the spectre of violence in North Kivu, that is in Congo. for. And for you who is unemployed, well, there is an opportunity for you to grab yourself a job in all these jobs that have been put out there. And in the scoop pullout this Friday, I'm a godly girl. I have never done drugs. And you know who is saying that? Grab yourself the copy of Daily Monitor and see who is actually putting herself out there, telling you guys, come on, I don't do drugs. And COVID boss told to surrender clinical trials to health ministry. And the lizard over there doing the most, they are not obeying the law anymore. And now this is in relation to the retired officers who defaulted on about 1.2 billion Uganda shillings police SACCO loans.
Well, and we also go over to the new vision for this morning. I start off with giving you a burial plan for Oulanyah, where you'll be getting details on the body arriving today, NRM pays tributes, and the Renzururu Bunyoro mourn. Now that is more detailed on page 6 and 7 of the new vision for today. Well, also showing you 62 external security organization officers being passed out as General Museveni orders ISO to stop arrests. Well, there is more details to that story on page 3 of the new vision for today. Now in a big picture right there, also showing you how the Chief Justice and Mengo are reconciling. Now it's interesting, they're shaking hands right there with Katikilo of Uganda, and also in presence of the former UPC President Olaro Tunu right there in his Chitenji, man of Chitenji right there. Well, and we also in this paper look at the budgets increased to shillings 47.1 trillion. That is the Finance Ministry tabling the 9 tax-related bills intended to raise tax revenue to fund this budget. Well, there is more to that story on page 8 of the new vision for today. We'll also look at the vaccinated to earn millions monthly. Well, who are these vaccinated? They're also vaccinated. Now these guys will be earning millions. But there is more to that story on page 5 of the new vision for today. Well, crossing over to Somalia, African Union mission expires. And that is talking about the Uganda People's Defense Forces stay in Somalia. Looks like this might be expiring. And there is a lot to that story on page 10 of the new vision for today. And also in Africa's richest women, there is a series right there. Who are the continent's 10 richest women and how did they get their wealth? This will be something interesting to read about if you also want to follow in their footsteps for sure. Well, also talking about land, 70 titles to be cancelled in Wakiso. Now that story also is showing on page 4 of the new vision for today. Get yourself a copy and you'll be able to get that and much more.
And in the Daily Monitor, Sports Women's Cricket World Cup, and we're seeing the big two over there, England that is going to be facing Australia in the final of the ICC Women's World Cup final after Danny Wyatt's Superton propelled the defending champions to the 137-run defeat of South Africa. And again, more coming in from boxing, pro debut for Olympians. Now this will be happening today, and we're seeing a picture of Nanziri there over in a very, very, very perfect she's in perfect shape. She looks like she's going to kill it. So this will be happening at Lugogo, and we cannot wait to see what will come out of it. And then quite an interesting story over here. We are still on the countdown, by the way, to the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. And right about now, we stand at 234 days to go. And looking at why most Africans fail to watch the World Cup qualifiers. Actually, Mollen, there are some people who don't know that these are happening. So clearly, this story will tell why most of them don't know or didn't even watch these qualifiers. So early relegation, 6-pointer for Rhines, and this is the Lady Doves in the FWSL. Over there, quite very many stories in the Daily Monitor Sports. So just make sure you get yourself this copy this Friday morning.
Well, I'll tell you what, when Uganda got out of the competition, I think that's where Ugandans stopped following, and they were like, no.
Let me tell you one thing about us Ugandans. When we know that Uganda is participating in some of these international, tournaments and whatnot, we'll be there to support. When we know that Uganda, or we have a representative, the moment we are out, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. No,
we just wait for the final results. But you need to follow up, unless you have keen interest in this specific sport. Then Other than that, the interest to keep it at 100% when we know Uganda is not there.
It's out there, which is why I think we have papers like this to remind us. So even with the New Vision Sports today, they are leading with the World Cup draw for today. Now, yesterday there was a decision from FIFA to hold the World Cup in Qatar. That took center stage in the discussions they were having yesterday. But if you want to know the FIFA World Draw, what you need to know, the tournament key dates, the venue for the World Cup draw, how does the draw work, that's all right there for you in the New Vision Sport for today. And also more of a big day for some of the teams in the Premier League, the Ugandan Premier League. Now, why also former top flight clubs like Kofi and Nile collapsed? They're giving you a story of how that actually happened. Now, more if you're a golfer, there is more of the stories on golf in this country. Big day for ex-Bombers. They're also showing you some of that in the New Vision Sport for today. But there's a lot of details across with the World Cup, and that is where we should be following, even when Uganda is not there. But we do have African teams. We should be able to support.
Yeah, we have a neighbor friends that we can actually support. If Uganda is not in,
the ones that kicked us out.
Well, we don't have to carry on.
These guys kicked us out to take the place. So maybe
they're all Africans at the end of the day. So we are going to support them. But there is also another story that caught my attention. You know, an entertainment story over here. Now, especially, I mean, Mollen, I know you're well versed with all these series and the movies. You know, Bridgerton. Actually, last Friday we did talk about Bridgerton season 2 coming out. Now, there is a country here in Africa that has decided to have an affair. Of course, this right here, Bridgerton, is the affair. So, I mean, the theme. They're looking at the dress code. They're looking at everything that is done in Bridgerton. This is the Bridgerton affair in South Africa. I am going to tell you, the dress code was wonderful. You know, South Africans do the most. And there are all these celebrities, the ladies, and they're just in African flair. I mean, it was really, really beautiful. I saw the pictures and I'm thinking, maybe we need to have something like this in Uganda.
And South Africa has really been great at replicating some of the things that are done out there. I'm telling you, bringing a theme of Bridgerton here, it's also going to show, because what Bridgerton is showing is how those guys used to dress, the English. But now these guys are also showing how Africa would dress up like, and that for me, and South Africa has been innovative. Not to mention we've been dealing with the famous young, famous and African series that is already showing on Netflix, and it was all over the place. And this is South Africa still being innovative. I like the fact that they brought in other personalities from different countries. We have our very own Zari in there representing.
She's doing
the most.
Series. I saw her make a joke. Aside from coffee being one of the greatest exports or the biggest exports of Uganda, she's an export of Uganda. Zari. Don't overdo it. Don't assume a lot of self-importance. But well, I mean, she's doing what she does, and that is selling Uganda, especially when it comes to the entertainment industry. Well, you're still watching Good Morning Uganda Friday special, and definitely we are still happening. But when we go and come back, we are returning with more entertainment. What's happening? What are you going to watch this weekend? What movie should you look out? Definitely Mollen will be giving you all the dates, and of course, where can you go? All right, aside from, you know, reading a book or watching a movie, there is a lot that is happening. I mean, we're still in that period. Good Morning Uganda will return right after the break.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by.
Their job is to keep you and me healthy and well. But sometimes they try in vain.
How to get points? Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Are your children ready to learn? Schools are open. As parents and guardians, it is your duty to ensure that your children go back to school. COVID-19 prevention measures have been put in place to keep students safe as they go back to school. Not only do teachers prioritize everyone's health, including their own, but they discourage violence among students. They also ensure that students follow SOPs. Any concerns are reported to a school administrator or senior woman or man teacher for correction and further guidance. Dear parents and guardians, you too must play your role. Ensure your children always maintain a 2-meter distance from others, avoid crowded places, regularly wash their hands with soap and water, and wear a washed and clean face mask that covers their mouths and noses. Please keep your children at home if they're feeling sick, and take note. In our effort to keep students safe, there are no visitation days or any other school visits allowed. Let's share knowledge, not COVID-19. This message is supported by the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education and Sports, and UNICEF. Stay safe.
It's super cool to be a mass superhero, to get the spread of the virus to 0. Did you know that just wearing a mask is not enough? Yes, correctly wearing a mask will protect you and others, but you still have to remember to wash your hands with clean running water and soap, or using a sanitizer, socially distance, and avoid crowded areas. Wearing a mask helps protect you and others from spreading viruses. To get the spread of the virus to 0.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Good morning, Uganda. Friday Spacious still happening over here. My name is Philomena. We're still hanging out together between now and 9 a.m. Now, today being a Friday, of course, the usual drill is that we tell you what you should probably be doing. We give you options, and you definitely make the final decision, the final pick on what is going to be able to occupy you during this entire weekend. That is the movies, the series, and maybe where to go, all that we bring for you right here on Good Morning Uganda. And Mollen comes in. Mollen, what are we watching this weekend?
Well, I don't know. There are a lot of options out there. So it's up to you to figure out from what we're going to show you which one you will be spending your money on, or going wherever you have your movie plots or your movie guy to get these ones. But we'll start off with Mobius. Now, it's up to you to judge whether Mobius is a superhero or a villain. Now, this guy is a biochemist, and he tries to actually cure himself of a rare blood disease. But in so doing, he ends up injecting himself with something that is experimental, and it goes south. It goes wrong. But when it goes wrong, it also gets him to be infected with some kind of form of vampirism. He turns into a vampire. Well, This movie has been trending and is already getting to a very good rating on Google, but also across IMDb. It is rating it up to 10, but also Rotten Tomatoes has rated it 77% liking of this film, and that is over Google. Now you'll have actors like Jared Leto. Now Jared Leto is best known for his play in Justice League, but also House of Gucci. This guy has been there, and he's the one playing Mobius. We'll go ahead and show you the trailer and you see what you can expect in this movie.
Dr. Michael Morbius, you've been missing for 2 months.
When you're a stranger,
Then you were found on a container ship that washed up off of Long Island.
faces look ugly. When you're alone.
What did you do to yourself, Doctor?
I wish I knew. I went from dying to being more alive than ever. It worked. Not exactly. I have increased strength and speed and some form of bat radar. What else can I do?
There are limits. There has to be.
There's something inside of me that wants to hunt and consume blood.
Michael. When you're a stranger, faces come.
Can you control it?
I don't know.
Half the city wants to kill you.
We haven't had anything this good since that thing in San Francisco.
The other half wants to control you.
Hey, Dr. Mike, you and I should stay in touch.
I'd do anything to save a life, but I don't know what I'm capable of.
Well, this movie was actually pushed from 2020, and Philo here was telling me she was long waiting for it, and it's right here. It is premiering today, and that is one of the ones you should be looking out for if you're going cinema for this Friday or even throughout the weekend. It is now showing, and you can go ahead and get yourself to Mobius. I don't know, something about vampires that girls like. Maybe that's why Philomena likes it as well. But this guy, I don't know whether he's a superhero, but I'm also going for it. It is premiering today. But away from that, there is also another interesting movie that it has caught my eye for sure, and this one is called The Ambulance. Now, with The Ambulance, you look at the people who are needing money. How far would you go for the money and for your family? Well, just as his wife's medical bills got stronger, a decorated veteran teams up with his adoptive brother to steal $32 million from Los Angeles Bank. However, when their getaway goes spectacularly wrong, they thought for another desperate move, and that is hijacking an ambulance. Well, that's an interesting one right there, but it is also already premiering and also showing on a lot of reviews, giving it to 89% liking from Google users. Well, but how do you do that? Anyway, we do have Jake right there, who is being the main actor in the movie, and he has played a lot of those. We'll go ahead and take a look into a Universal Pictures trailer for this movie and see what you can expect from The Ambulance.
Officers down in front of the bank. Automatic weapons being fired.
Easy, 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 easy. You want to drive or can I drive?
Bank robbery suspects have taken an ambulance.
I got a cop shot. Gotta get him to the hospital.
We doing hostages now? I came to you for a loan.
You're my brother. Have I ever gotten you anything that I couldn't get you out of?
Lock everything down.
We're just trying to get home.
We don't get to walk off into the sunset.
I have a plan!
Police are following these two suspects.
Whew. Gotta chill out. Gotta chill out.
Hit me up.
What's going on in there? These guys are nut jobs.
Right here it is! Sailing takes me away to where I always
What to be. Hey, what's up, big guy? Just waking up?
Just you wait and see.
Does your wife know you're Rob Banks?
I'm sorry, brother.
It gets the best of me.
Sorry that I brought you into this.
Sailing takes me away.
I just wanted things to be the way they used to be.
We are trying to save you.
I'm gonna get you back home, little brother. And get everybody home.
Well, they are caught in a high-speed chase, and the two siblings have to figure out how to outrun the law, but still keep their, the people that have caught up in that kind of saga alive. That's an interesting one. But well, if you are a big fan of animation, I have one for you, and this one has been actually making headlines. Guess what? We have Sonic the Hedgehog 2 out already, and it is already showing in cinema. And of course, if you have your movie person, that's the one series the one movie that you can actually get from there. We're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, this is an interesting dog for me, and it's like a superhero dog. Now, after settling in Green Hills, you remember from Sonic 1, then Sonic is now eager to prove that he was and he has what it takes to be a true hero. His test comes as Dr. Rob returns with a new pattern. And remember, Dr. Rob was the guy chasing after the hedgehog Sonic, but now he also has to prove that, you know what, now is my time. Well, he teams up with his friend on the side, and that they are working together to embark on a globe-trotting journey to find the emerald before it falls in the wrong hands. You remember that giant diamond thing that they were looking for? Well, now they have to rescue it, and that is Sonic right there trying to play superhero. Let's take a look into the trailer and see what Sonic has in store for you.
Great, the Winter Soldier.
These rings signify the commitment.
So help me, Thomas! Sorry. Life or death situation, I need you to use the ring to save me, like right now.
Oh my God. Oh boy.
Hawaii.
I just hope we're not too late.
Oh Lord, there are two of them now.
What's happening?
Okay, quick version. Robotnik is back.
I've discovered the source of ultimate power.
We need to get it back or the world is doomed.
You brought some kind of space porcupine.
I am an Echidna warrior.
Hedgehog.
It's time to say goodbye to humanity. Welcome to the new norm.
This is your moment to be the big hero.
Bad time to say this, but I don't actually have a plan. Hey, you got a little something on your belly?
Someone call an Uber? It's cold in here. Let's turn up the heat.
Well, Sonic right there playing hero. But you know what? It's interesting. We do have Idris Elba in there, and he's playing Knuckles. The guy who is actually being some kind of, I don't know, a jack in that line, but he's helping out. It's superhero. And Philo, have you watched Sonic the Hedgehog?
I watched the first one. I haven't yet watched this one, but I'm also it's on the movie list. It's on the plan. This right here is the weekend plan. But there is something about animations. We cannot deny the fact that they're really soothing and entertaining. And I've heard people say, even you adults, my friend, you need an animation in your life. You need to watch an animated movie. It will soothe you. Mollen, I don't know.
I actually find animations much more like they're They are family movies in the first place, but they also, these days, I'm telling you, producers have got them to a level where we now see superheroes in animations. We now see a lot of twists in them, and for me, that's catchy. And that's why I would go for animation any day. And you know, even, have you realized how they're in 3D these days? They're even showing in Dolby Atmos, and you're like, wow, you get to feel how the movie is actually going to be like, and you're like, wow, I'm in it. And also interesting, we were showing the trailer for Ambulance. I mean, is that where we are right now in terms of movie? What do you think about the Ambulance?
So I actually watched the Ambulance on Wednesday, and I think it's a culture, especially here in Africa, where people still don't believe that a family can adopt another person, and even if they're of a different race, and they become siblings. And there is a friend of mine over there, Stephen Kamoga, you were saying, but how can a white dude and another white dude be and a black dude be brothers? You just have to forget about the blood. I mean, they are adopted brothers. So I mean, you don't even need to have a mother or anything to start identifying who is who. They are brothers. And if you watch the movie, by the way, which you should during this weekend, the bond they had, Mollen, was really, really intense. Anything done to one of the brothers, let me tell you, the other brother would go through hell and back to make sure they defend the other. So I mean, that bond is between two adopted brothers. This is a kind of bond you'd never find between two people who are actually born from the same mother and father. So it's not about the parents. No, I highly doubt that.
Yeah, I did. What is interesting in that movie as well that I also saw is the way that, you know, the decisions are influenced. Like when you have a big brother and you're looking up to, even when they tell you, you know what, this is something we should do, if it's a bad idea, there is a way you're compelled to actually follow through. Because at first, actually, this guy was like, no, do we really have to do this? He's like, no, I promise you, this is going to be a clean job. We're going to do it clean. And guess what? They are now caught in a situation where they have hostages. It's no longer clean. And at that point, you're stealing an ambulance. Like, please.
Well, I mean, the money was in there, and then they also had hostages, and then they had a cop who was being attended to by another lady.
I hope we're not giving out spoilers.
just make sure you go. But there is also one thing I took away from this movie, Mollen. Amongst the siblings, okay, or as a parent, you have, say, probably 2 or even more kids, there is always that one kid. There is always that one child who just really tips you off. And or if they're all bad, there is always that one child that you just, you know, I mean, that is your consolation. Like, well, they all need to go back. There is always that one child. Clearly, it is put out in this movie.
Yeah, in a good family, there is always the emuyayu. So I think that was, but anyway, not to the bad extent of emuyayu, but that child that is always going to go for that. But anyway, if you're not catching any movies, I do have a recommendation for a book, and this is top notch. I have had a chance to actually read a few chapters in this book, and I'm one person who always goes for the last chapter. If I feel like I need to know, I'm impatient when it comes to reading books, especially if they are this good. Now, this one is called Night Crawling. It's a novel and a book by Lyra Motley. Well, it has a very good rating so far. Now, Barnes & Noble, if you are a good follow-up of books, you know how Barnes & Noble do not actually give out reviews, but they have given it 5 out of 5. Well, the movie is about a young black woman who walks the streets of Auckland and stumbles headlong into the failure of its justice system. Well, while, you know, the justice system is failing her, the debut of a blazing original voice that bursts into what is happening across her life. Now, it mostly talks about, you know, the way of life. You're a young person into the city, something wrong is happening. How do you get through into the justice system? But also you're black. And you know how most, especially black community, has not been, you know, getting that. But it also takes you through the life of being young and how much can you do in a strange city. If you have moved, how much can you get? This is the book, Night Crawling, and it's one really right there out you can get. It's already on Amazon Kindle. This is a very good spot for books. If you're already subscribing, this is one to go for. If you're not subscribed, and you say you're a book reader, this is one you should be going for. But also on Google Books, you can get this book, and I know that it's also right there in most of the bookstores. Philo, are you a fan of books?
Well, I'm not an ardent fan, but if I find a good book, I will read. And I will tell you I love fiction writing, or I love fiction literature, if I should call it that. One of the best I've read so far is John Grisham. He's such a he's a sci-fi writer, so most of his books I've really read. And I know it's quite an odd pick. Somebody told me, who reads sci-fi? How do you read sci-fi? It's quite very, very interesting. Even when you follow up the way he writes, it's very graphical. It really taps into your world of imagination. When he's describing this experiment that is happening in a laboratory, you'll actually think you are the Bunsen burner in this laboratory, like you were there. So I do love some fiction, and I'm trying to pick on the habit of reading because it's actually very interesting. When you find a good book, I mean, just read it. You can't,
are you the kind of person that follows through with audiobooks? You just sleep and let someone narrate?
I find them very, very, very convenient. I could actually multitask. Multitask. But also, I loved reading the traditional way. There is something about holding a book and you flip the pages as you read line by line. The audiobooks, well, yeah, it's technology. We have to embrace it. So you do it if you must. But if you ask me to pick between the two, definitely I would go for the traditional style of reading. Get my book, probably sit somewhere, grab a glass of wine, and then just read away.
There's also this thing about books that people have been actually talking about. When you have a book and then there is a movie out there, and I'll give you a few examples of the recent Bridgerton series. There is a book, and we know Bridgerton has followed a series of books. Now, with season 2 coming out, it seems like the people who read the book of Bridgerton that very season for that story, they're disappointed in how the movie has portrayed different characters.
Yes.
I don't know. I am one person who has also been, comparing books. For example, I'll also give you the one we had right here home, Queen of Katwe. The book and the movie, these are two different. You feel like there is a character that was not portrayed the way it is in the book. I don't know what you think about books and movies.
I'll tell you one thing. If you ask me actually between the two, because I really love movies, but also somehow I find myself reading some of the books before watching the movies. I'll give you an example. I mean, we've seen J.K. Rowling do the most, the Harry Potter series, all these books. They're a bit really, really graphical compared to the movies. There is always that element that misses out. This is why you see people actually recommending for you to read the book if you can, as opposed to watching the movie. But again, some people are not really fans of reading, so they decide to go for the movie. But I find the books more detail oriented. Okay, and there is something about them, like I told you, the people who write these books are very, very graphical. They are really imaginative. They're good at making sure you get into that world of imagination. They just did so. There are very many movies, especially when it comes to the adventurous movies, all these, and I mean the love stories, which really I'm not a big fan of, but yes.
You're not? You're not?
I love love, but
I didn't figure you for someone who doesn't
I will
like
watch some
love
of these movies once in a while, but if I have to pick between such a movie and another movie, I will definitely go for the other. But I love some romantic.
Let me tell you.
The books, I will read the historicals, the love historicals, the novels. I've read those, very many of them. And I think it has just given me a whole different look at the way I look at love right now. Is well, I don't know whether maybe it was shaped by the books I've read.
This girl needs some love. This girl needs some love. I'm going to tell you one thing. For me, a movie must have a little bit of more to that. If it's an action, you must put a little bit of romance and then a little bit of thriller. That's how a movie goes. It has to have both. Like, don't give me a love story. Also, if you give me a love story without anything adventurous or even thrill in there, it's going to be boring. I don't want just one genre. Give me three. Give me all that. But put the element of romance still. That's a movie to watch, because the stories will keep boring from all this action. You need something to relax you and be like, okay, at least there is a happily ever after, or there is an ending to this story. So that's one thing I'm always looking out for.
Oh, wow, we have a romantic in the house. Clearly, we do have a romantic in the house. But well, me, without any romance, I can still survive. I can watch the movie. I will enjoy it. If there's a bit of it, I will watch it passively, but it's not one that I really have like really to look out for.
Now I know which movie date to go with you. I'll go with the animations,
yes,
family movies.
Yes, please. Yes,
yeah.
please.
Yes, but away from that, I also want to take you into what is happening across the country, and that is in terms of weather that is happening for this morning. Well, I can tell you, you have quite a good weekend ahead of you. Depends on whether sunny is good for you or rainy is good for you. Now, this morning we are starting off with mostly clear skies. We're tapping from a satellite that are showing us real-time data of what is happening over the country. And from what I can tell you, we do have mostly a very clear morning and pleasant weather across Uganda for this morning. What we're seeing is that we do have some of the systems that are starting to develop, but it doesn't look like that will be covering much of the country. It's only towards the southern sector of the country where we're looking at some of those clouds starting to develop, and most likely they will be bringing us a little bit of rains later in the day. Northern Uganda is still looking clear in terms of weather, mostly waking up to a sunny morning. Now, same goes for the Karamoja region, where we're seeing those open skies, where you see the gray skies. That is mostly a sunny morning for that. Now, looking into parts of Midwestern Uganda as well, Masindi, Hoima, you have a clear morning for you right there in open gray skies. That is indicative of sunny conditions right there. Same across the Lake Choga region, also looking at mostly sunny conditions for this morning. Across eastern Uganda, we have a few clouds that are developing for parts of Mount Elgon, across Mbale. That area is having a little bit of cloudy weather, but it looks like that will be also clearing as the day continues. And we do have a rain system that is developing over the Lake Victoria Basin now. It seems like this is moving mostly southwards, but it has tendency to the western part of Lake Victoria, and this is where we do expect a little bit of rains towards the western Lake Victoria Basin. Now, that will take in parts of Sembabule, Liantwende right here, Masaka, Rengo. You can look out for a little bit of rains as the day progresses, but for now it's mostly just cloudy conditions over there, and we do expect that to continue into the afternoon as well. Now, Mbarara, southwestern Uganda, that area is mostly with intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions. Also a mix of clouds across Fort Portal, that area still across Ntoroko, that is south of Lake Albert, also dealing with mostly a sunny morning for today. But what we're looking at in terms of what is bringing up a little bit of reduction in wet weather conditions, we do still have those systems that are coming in from the northern part of the continent that are contributing mostly to most of the dry weather that we're seeing across much of Uganda. But also that is coming in with hot temperatures. So while we're looking at reduction in rainfall, we also have to deal with much more of those, warm temperatures that are coming up. Now, we had toned down in terms of how we're looking with temperatures. At least we've had some chilly mornings. But now we're looking at more of that warmth picking up. But we do expect that to continue into the weekend. But by Monday, we might be getting some good news where those systems start to move away, and then we have a little bit of rains again. But for now, I can tell you, if you have any outdoor activity actually planned for this weekend, it's good. It's a good timing if you don't have rains. I don't know about good luck and whatsoever, but I can tell you the weekend is looking quite pleasant in terms of weather. So go ahead and have that outdoor, especially if you're anywhere around eastern Uganda. Parts of central, northern Uganda continues to be dry. Now, a little bit with southwestern Uganda, we might have quite a pickup in light rains, but also those will be over a few places, so you can still go ahead and plan that outdoor and have your weekend really smooth. And if you have weddings and introductions, usually those are the ones that people make a big fuss, and there's someone out there actually looking forward to raining on the wedding. I don't know whether that could be good luck. Now, I also want to bring in Philo here. I don't know whether this is good luck for it to rain, and people even go to the extent of getting doctors. I don't want to call them witch doctors, maybe traditional doctors, to bring the rains to their party. What is that?
I will tell you one thing, especially when you get to these culture functions, the kwanjulas. I think even for the weddings it happens, but I have seen this in most cases when you have a kwanjula, when you have a kwinjira, depending on the tribe, how you call it, but the traditional functions. On the budget, there is always a certain amount of money that is put on the side for the rainmaker. Okay.
What?
Yes. Now, I cannot explain the science between the rainmaker and the weather. That I have no say.
I'll tell you one thing. There is no science, and I repeat this. There is no
But
science.
Mollen, these people do their work efficiently. I have seen some of those who have not been paid, and apparently in some cultures you're supposed to give them food and something specific things, and maybe like 100,000 you get in shillings or 150, you know, depending on the amount of money they've asked for. If you don't, these guys are going to give you a heavy downpour. I have seen it happen. And they call in this gentleman and they apologize and give him what they're supposed to give him, and it just in a split of a second,
and the
rain is gone.
Really?
Yes. Yes,
No,
yes, it happens.
These guys actually get away with this stuff, because I can tell you one thing: rain is related to science. There is no way someone is going to stand in the or sit in their compound and make it rain. It's not going to happen. However, if you really want someone to tell you whether it's going to rain on your day, I think you should be paying me, the likes of me, instead of paying
this meteorologist.
I am telling you, because I'll tell you exactly where it will rain, so that if you have, you know, your wedding planned, you have extra tents, you know where to put your guests and how, you know, plan around the fact that it's going to rain. If it's not going to rain, I'll tell you. But these guys sit back home and, you know, they know this is, you know, a rainy season. So they actually play the game, and that's what I want to call it. And they're like, it might rain. So they will tell you it will rain, give me money. And then it doesn't rain, and they're like, you see, it's me who actually did that. Then when it rains, they'll be like, you know what, you gave me small money. I think the ancestors were not, were not impressed.
Yes. The ancestors are not that cheap. You can't give our ancestors about 50,000 again in shillings or 100.
Yeah.
They need 300,000 again in shillings.
So that's when the science actually was saying it's going to rain, and it goes ahead and rains, and this guy had told you he has it in control. But now, you know, it's science, it has rained. Now he has to come up with an excuse of why it actually rained. You'll be like, you see, they were not impressed. You see, the money, you see, you approached me in a bad way. These guys are playing a wrong game. I'm telling you, the right people to pay.
I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know what you're going to do to convince people, to persuade them into actually believing that it's science behind this, because this has been a culture. It's been happening over the years, and it has become a thing. There is no way you're going to plan for a tradition or any other function for that matter, and you don't put some money aside for the rainmaker. How dare you?
Well, I
that
respect
is, you know, the whole perception.
I respect it. I respect the culture around it. I respect, you know, tradition, and also we also use some of the traditional knowledge in our forecasting systems, because these guys actually know the patterns of weather around their place. So it's something that you use in consideration of, you know, the patterns around the area, but not to forecast. It can help with, you know, what is happening and how things have been happening if you're looking at long-term analysis. But to say that this person has been here now can predict that tomorrow it's going to rain, I don't believe in that. But I respect culture. I respect it.
Oh, well, there you go. We're going for a short break, but when we get back, definitely we'll be giving you quite more. We'll also be taking you through the burial arrangements of the fallen Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, that is Honorable Jacob Oulanyah, how it's going to be happening. And again, just to wish you happy new month. It's time for you to reset things that didn't work out last month. Please, you can carry them forward to April and find a way of working them out. Good Morning Uganda continues right after this break.
We've got Total Energies as one of our biggest clients. We are currently involved in provision of resettlement services for the Tilenga project for 6 resettlement packages. The services are tailored towards land acquisition and ensuring that the resettlement is undertaken in line with IFC Performance Standard 5 as well as national legislation. Given the complexity of the projects that we're working on, staff have had that professional development because of the challenge presented by the projects. And given that it's the oil and gas industry where the requirements are usually stringent, we have improved brand recognition because we're able to meet those standards. So most clients that come to us know that if we can meet the standards, then our brand is good.
Total Energies EP Uganda is committed to the empowerment of Ugandans to take an active part in the overall development of the oil project in Uganda.
It's super cool to be a mass superhero, to get the spread of the virus to zero. Did you know that just wearing a mask is not enough? Yes, correctly wearing a mask will protect you and others, but you still have to remember to wash your hands with clean running water and soap, or using a sanitizer, socially distance, and avoid crowded areas. Wearing a mask helps protect you and others from spreading viruses. To get the spread of the virus to zero.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Are your children ready to learn? Schools are open. As parents and guardians, it is your duty to ensure that your children go back to school. COVID-19 prevention measures have been put in place to keep students safe as they go back to school. Not only do teachers prioritize everyone's health, including their own, but they discourage violence among students. They also ensure that students follow SOPs. Any concerns are reported to a school administrator or senior woman or man teacher for correction and further guidance. Dear parents and guardians, you too must play your role. Ensure your children always maintain a 2-meter distance from others, avoid crowded places, regularly wash their hands with soap and water, and wear a washed and clean face mask that covers their mouths and noses. Please keep your children at home if they're feeling sick, and take note. In our effort to keep students safe, there are no visitation days or any other school visits allowed. Let's share knowledge, not COVID-19. This message is supported by the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education and Sports, and UNICEF. Stay safe.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Good morning, Uganda. Friday special right here, of course, on UBC TV, where we're coming to you live from the studios over here at Nile Avenue. Today, the 1st of April 2022, a new month, but also quite a lot of changes and a lot of plans that are yet to be happening. And that is, of course, in relation to the late Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah. Now, the Minister for the Presidency, Millie Babalanda, did put out quite a whole plan from when the body is expected to be arriving in the country until it is finally put to rest. Now, just to take you through these funeral arrangements, today, Friday, 1st April, at about 2 p.m., the body will arrive at Entebbe International Airport aboard Ethiopian Airlines, and then the casket will be received with full honors. Of course, a few leaders and family members will be allowed at this ceremony, so it's not for everybody. And immediately after, the casket will be handed over to A+ Funeral Management. And right after that, we move on to the second day. That will be 2nd, 3rd April, Sunday and Monday, 4th April at 9 a.m. The body will lie at the home of the Speaker. This is in Muyenga, where friends and well-wishers will pay their last respects. Of course, there will be a small service conducted and attended by few people on Sunday. Of course, these are all few people because the standard operating procedures have to be observed, because of the COVID-19. And then Tuesday, 5th April 2022 at exactly 9 a.m., the body will be moved to Parliament of Uganda, where the Right Honourable Speaker will lead the members of Parliament to pay their final respects. And then the body will be spending the night in Parliament. And moving to Wednesday, which will be the 6th of April 2022 at 9 a.m., the body will be taken to Kololo Ceremonial Grounds for a state funeral. Now, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda and the National Resistance Movement National Chairman will lead the nation that is in paying tribute to the late Speaker of Parliament. And still on the same day, of course, after the ceremony at 3 p.m., the casket will be airlifted to Omoro Lalogi village, the Speaker's ancestral home, where it will be received again by the family and Acholi leaders. There will be a night vigil at the home. Take note, this will be happening still on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, which will be the 7th of April 2022, the body will lie at Lalogi for final respects by the members of the public. This will be on the Thursday, 7th April 2022. And then on Friday, which will be the 8th of April 2022, the burial ceremony will start at 9 a.m. Now, the day will definitely be observed as a public holiday as declared by His Excellency the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, but also by the stature of the person that we are going to be putting to rest. This is part of what is expected and also explains all the activities that will be happening between now and Friday, 8th April 2022. Like I promised you, UBC TV will be giving you all the details as they unveil. So make sure that you keep watching UBC to, go along with the plan and see the proceedings. Well, that's it about the funeral arrangements of the late Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah. And as Good Morning Uganda Friday special still goes on, we are having the sports updates coming in right about now. Tell you more about all these sports, what's happening in basketball, what is happening in netball, soccer, rugby, indoor games, and clearly, I will let the sports lady.
Yes, I am a sports person, and guess what? My best game I have played in my lifetime is basketball. I have been good at this. I've got medals in basketball, I can assure you. And even the schools I went to, I was always a pro in basketball. which has made me a sports lady of of all time. But we'll go ahead and take a look into what to expect. If you are a sports fan, then at least you need to know who is playing against who. You need to know which games you can look out for. We'll be giving you the fixtures of, there is also people who sit back and they're looking at, a game. They are just rooting for the other side to lose. So these are the ones that you can expect, and we'll start off right here in Uganda, right there, Nkumba Lady Marines versus the Angels that will be playing at 1830. That's one you should look out for. But we also have KIU Titans playing against the Betway Power, and that will be coming to you right at 8:30, and that's one game you should be looking out for. Crossing over to the English Premier League, we have Liverpool playing against Watford, and that will be coming at 2:30. We also have Brighton and Hove Albion that will be playing against Norwich City. That is coming to you at 5 p.m. We also have Burnley playing against Manchester City. Well, Manchester City has kind of dominated a little bit, but well, let's see how they play against Burnley, and that will also be coming at 5 p.m. Chelsea versus Brentford, that will be also at 5 p.m. Chelsea is quite in the lead, so playing against Brentford, I don't know how that will be going through, but obviously my win is actually towards Chelsea. I don't know. I'm not giving any tips if you're betting. I'm not giving any tips, but that's one game you should be looking out for if you're heading that direction. We also have Leeds United that will be playing against Southampton. I don't know. I couldn't give you any tips on Leeds and Southampton game, what to bet against. Maybe don't bet at all. Well, we also look at the Wolves versus Aston Villa. Yes, this one I can give you some tips on where to bet. I would go with the side of Aston Villa, depending on the fact that, Aston Villa is a big team. So yes, go for that one. But we're also heading over to the German Bundesliga, and we're looking at this Frankfurt that will be playing against Greuther Fürth, and that is also coming in at 4:30. We have Bayern Leverkusen versus the Berlin, and that will be at 4:30 as well. You have Freiburg versus the Bayern Munich, and that one I can give you a few tips on where to bet. Go with Bayern Munich, please. And the next game is also for Hoffenheim, and that will be versus Bochum, and that's coming in at 4:30 as well. But you also have the Bielefeld that is versus Stuttgart. And that one, don't go betting at all. You don't know where this game is headed, I can't tell you. But you also have Dortmund and versus the Leipzig, and that is across the German Bundesliga. But heading over to the Italy Series A, and that is starting off right there with Spezia versus Venezia. That's coming in at 4 p.m. as well. You have Lazio versus the Sassuolo. And that one, don't bet. Then you also crossing over to the game again for Juventus with Inter Milan. Well, this one I'll give you where to go for. Juventus and Inter Milan, that's a hard one. That's a hard one. But from the look of things, I don't know, I would go with Juventus. They have had a clean slate. Not in terms of goals, but they have been performing throughout the season. Series A, go for Juventus. But you also have Roma playing against the Sampdoria. That's also coming in at 7 p.m. You also have one game for Napoli against Atlanta. That one, maybe just go with your guts on that one. We also cross over to the Netherlands, where we do have the PEC versus the Go Ahead Eagles. That will be coming in at 7:15 as well. But also for the Sparta Rotterdam versus the Harven, and that will also be coming in at 5:30. You do have Canberra versus the NEC, that will be coming in at 5:45. And crossing over to the Scotland Premiership, you do have Rangers versus Celtic. Well, this one I can't give you this this one. Obviously, you see that side of Celtic. That's the winning side. That's the winning side. Have your money on that one and you won't regret it. When you have your money, send some to me because I've given you the tips. Then we cross over to the Spain La Liga. This is a very good one. This is a very good one. And we'll be going through, you have Valencia right there versus the Cadiz, and that is at 7:30 as well. You have Granada versus the Rayo Vallecano, and that is also at 1:30 right there. But you also have Atletico Bilbao versus the Elche. That one I can give you. Go with Atletico Bilbao. That has been playing so well in the season across La Liga. That one. I think Philo is not taking my tips seriously. I am telling you, people could add money, and guess what? If they do earn this money, they could send me some. Okay. So go with me right here. But that is what you can expect in terms of the fixtures that are looking across right now. And have your money somewhere. We do have a game for Barcelona against Sevilla. That one at 4 p.m. And well, I don't even need to tell you, Barcelona is doing well. This is Barcelona. This is Barcelona. Then you also have West Ham United versus Everton. I don't know, this one is kind of, Everton has been doing well throughout the season, but West Ham is one of those games that are the teams that are stubborn. You never know when West Ham is going to hit you. This could be one of those games. So Everton and West Ham, I don't know. It looks like a draw. You could go for a draw. But also you have Tottenham Hotspurs versus Newcastle United that will be playing at 6:30. And with that one, I think Tottenham has been doing well, Newcastle as well, so maybe also go for a draw. I don't know. Go with your guts with that one. But crossing over to the English Championship, and we're looking at Birmingham City playing against West Bromwich, and that will be playing at 5. Also that one, I don't know. I'll go with West Bromwich. They've been doing well. I will consult my elders to see later. But let's go over to the France Ligue 1, where we do have the Strasbourg versus Lens, and that will be coming in at 2 p.m. as well. We have Clermont against Nantes, and that will be playing at 4 p.m. as well. You have Metz versus Monaco. Monaco has been doing good for this season. I would go with Monaco for sure. Then you have Montpellier versus Brest, and that will be coming in at 4 p.m. as well. You have Troyes against Reims, and that is at 4 p.m. as well. But guess what? I do think that most of these leagues, if you look at even the fixtures that we have today, it's going to be someone looking back and say, okay, this one has been doing good across the season, but also how much the players have been doing, what are the conditions at this top point. Because you could look at a bigger team when actually they have injuries or they're not to, you know, the level that they've been performing at. And before you know it,
well, I'm going to tell you something, by the way, especially when you're talking about the tips, I am going to actually bet my money on it. And by the way, this is the first that you need to start getting used to, because she'll be giving us the sports updates. Sadly, Ruben Chividango did leave us, but right now I know Mollen will handle, and she's starting off on a good note. She will really give us all that we need. But also there is another sport that I think maybe you should
dangerous
incorporate.
Substitute right here. I know Ruben's shoes are very hard to really fit.
I know.
He has been doing us a good run for the sports throughout Good Morning Uganda, and it is sad that we can't have him do that anymore. Yeah, but hopefully I can always get in touch and he gives me a few tips. Oh, yes, absolutely. But maybe
I'm starting for greener pastures. I don't know, but yeah, this is going to be the new face for the sports updates, definitely here on Good Morning Uganda. But like I was saying, Mollen, there is also something interesting. The game Formula 1. I don't know if you're such an ardent follower. They did make an announcement, quite an interesting one, where we are going to be having now the Las Vegas Grand Prix. These people are going to be having an auto race, and this was really made known in quite a very interesting way. I'm a big fan of Red Bull. Yeah. But the announcement was actually shown by Charles Leclerc, who was driving a Ferrari, and they showed that he was doing his thing right there in Las Vegas. It's been like about 40 years since Formula 1 visited the Sin City, and at one point they did say, before they announced this new Grand Prix, that maybe they're looking into venturing into Africa. We're just wondering, which country are they looking at? Could they be coming to Uganda? We'll take them to the expressway to do their thing.
I'll tell you, they could look into the expressway, but we do know some of the countries that have been doing well with motorsport, and South Africa. South Africa could be a highlight.
It could be actually an option.
And when you talk about the City of Lights, this is Las Vegas, and this guy coming out in his Ferrari to say, hey, look, we are here 2023. For me, that was the highlight. He's like, we are coming. But there's a lot in Las Vegas, and this is one that is going to be selling for sure.
Oh, yes.
They're going to have a lot of people coming up, viewership, the fans. I can tell you that a lot of people will be flying to Las Vegas just for this sport.
They should come to Uganda. I know Kenya is also fighting for this sport. I saw them raging on social media, trying to, please come to Kenya. We will give you all that you need. So maybe
but you could have it here in Uganda.
Yes,
we're doing
the
well.
expressway is mwah.
But you see, we will need where you have humps where they can fly over. We have our own grounds.
We'll put all those things.
We have our own grounds. We can do it here, I think.
Oh well, that's it from the sports updates. But also, because it's a new month, Mollen, all right? Like I told you from the start, there are certain things we just need to start doing in a new way. Changes are supposed to be happening at this very first day of the month. I mean, speaking of changes, we already know that you're now the new face of the sports updates. But there is also something new that is coming. Coming soon right here. Good morning, Uganda. Of course, I can tell you what it is, but you need to wait. Quite interesting. Very, very interesting.
We're already at 90% loading.
Loading, just with only 10%. 10%. And we get to 100%, and then we know what it is. Even I don't know what it is. That is how. Well, but you can send us your messages and tell us what you think. Probably we could also, pick a brain from you and see what else it is that you would probably be expecting. It is coming 90%. That's why we are standing right now. Only 10%, and we get there and we know what it is. But it's something new. It's quite interesting, very exciting. I love new things. I love surprises. Mollen, do you love surprises?
I love surprises. I am one person who loves surprises, and I think I also react differently. I'm always this person who throws the oh my god when I'm surprised. Yeah, I really throw the oh my god.
It could be a good oh my god, though. It could be a shocking oh my god. Really?
No, it's always an excited oh my god. I don't say it once. I'll go on with it before I realize, okay, maybe I need to stop. That's when the instincts come, and I'm like, oh, okay, so they were surprising. Oh, so this is what happened.
Yes.
So I am good with surprises. I am also looking forward to this new thing that we have.
Absolutely. Seeing that we are very optimistic people, we believe that it's a good thing. It will be a good surprise. Even we don't know, but we believe that it will be a good thing. So make sure you are on the lookout to see what is coming. So definitely you have to be ready. Now, Mollen, if I may ask you, what plans do you have for this month of April? Okay.
Well, I do know that there is a lot I have planned for this weekend, but if we talk about the whole of April, it seems like this is another month to just get back.
I feel like, Mollen, you just want to sail through the first half of the year. I feel like you think you'll be more productive in the last part of the year. But well, I mean, you need to dedicate some work for the first.
No, I am not one person who lays out, how do they call them? These things that you plan.
They're called resolutions?
Resolutions. Yes. Now, I'm not a resolution kind of person. For me, I know what I want to do and I work towards it. If I set it out, like, this year I need to see my business at a certain level, I'm not going to have it as a resolution. I'm going to make steps. I'm going to make sure, okay, so I wanted to get another branch somewhere. What am I doing there? Have I already looked out for that? Do I have things going for it? Have I bought enough, equipment to help me get there? That's something I do as a work in progress. Not like, okay, by June I should be done.
Yes.
Because when you put that pressure, then you could lose out on certain opportunities. I'm also one person who will take on an opportunity once it comes. So I'm planning on doing this business, but then there's an opportunity to invest my money somewhere else. I will go for it. Because guess what?
Because some of these things you don't even need to plan. You don't need to plan for them. They just happen randomly.
You have to be this person who is a go-getter.
Why not grab it?
Yeah, you have to be a go-getter. If there's something out there and you can do it, it is within your means. You don't have to say, this one was not in my resolutions.
Yes.
No, let me leave it for next year.
So am I safe to say that you don't believe in planning for certain things? say now like the month of April is here, this is the first day, so ideally someone would actually think this is the perfect moment for you to sit down, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and start noting down, well, by this week I should have done this, next week I should have done this, probably should have saved this amount of money. Do you believe in that?
Well, planning per se, I do believe in that, because for each time that you have to do something, you have to plan for it. You must have like a timeline of like next week, this is what I will be doing. And then you schedule for it. But I also don't believe that when that doesn't happen, then you have to be like, okay, now I can't push it because now I have another plan for May. Like, no, when you have that plan, that means you have scheduled for something. I do schedule stuff, and once that time comes, I have to make sure that I'm there for it. So I do plan for things. However, I don't put a lot of pressure in knowing that, you know, since I planned for this, I can't do the other. No, I will go. I'm a little bit of a multitasker. I will do a lot of things in the same timeline, and what yields, yields. What doesn't, I just will be like, okay, so it hasn't, now move on to the next thing. I am that kind of
I'm just going to give you my story, Mollen. For the last couple of years, I decided to embark on a journey where I can actually make some resolutions like at the start of January and see how well I am doing. I will tell you something, I was so disappointed in myself. Honestly, yes, and I know very many, even you out there can relate to what I'm saying. You know, there is always that energy, the big energy you have at the start of the year, January, because I mean it's a mental setting. You know, it's a new year, I have to do things differently. You sit down and evaluate yourself. I was part of those people, and I had all these ambitious plans. You know, I'm thinking maybe by mid-Jan I should have probably, it was as ambitious as maybe building apartments or something, you know, that kind of, I would categorize it that way, until I realized like, but you know, Philomena, you're really wasting a lot of time and energies on this. Like, start with what you can handle. Yes, I know it's very important, it's very crucial for you to be ambitious as a human being, but also you need to be very reasonable, and you have to be very realistic. I just decided, you know what, I could start with one thing, say maybe let me go to gym and see how that works out. And I'm not disappointed. I am not disappointed in myself. I need a pat on my back. I'm doing so well. So I realized that one of the problems is that we are overly ambitious. Overly ambitious. So
it's practical to go to the gym. I feel like that's the one thing that, you know, people struggle with.
Yes.
There are a lot of people who say it out and like, next month I'm really going to the gym. I'm starting my workout routine. And then before you know it, you're actually moving towards the foods you're trying to put out of your diet. But let me tell you one thing, I was also disappointed in myself. I had planned to do a lot of travels. I like traveling across the country. So this year, I have been so disappointed. All the places I wanted to go to before, you know, within the first quarter of the year, I haven't gone to. I've only gone to one actually. And I had like 3 each month. I was supposed to go somewhere, and February came, I didn't go anywhere. I stopped in January. So March came, I didn't go anywhere, and now this April, I'm like, this travel thing, I'm a little bit disappointed, but maybe I'm also channeling my energy somewhere else. So
well, do not be disappointed if by the 4th month of the year 2022 you haven't yet achieved some of the things that you did plan out. You still have quite a number of months to be able to achieve all that. Then again, thank you for waking up with us as early as 6 a.m. all right, on here on GMU Friday Special. And of course, we have really said a lot, we have done a lot. I'm pretty sure this weekend you won't be home-sitted. Do something, engage yourself, all right, be active, go to the movies. You have a whole list that Mollen did give you that you can pick from. You know, you can go watch The Ambulance and watch Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, quite a lot you can do. Read a book, something. All right?
Break a leg.
Break a leg. Get out of your comfort zone. It's advisable you do that. Discover new places. Go travel. You know, do something. Don't sit at home. Break a leg, like Mollen says. Well, we have to go. We love you, but we have to leave. However, we'll be back refreshed on Monday with quite a whole lot of other changes, and of course, and we'll be giving you more details.
It is safe to say that while we're telling you have a nice weekend, if it's not nice, you can count on the fact that we'll be here on Monday.
Absolutely.
To take it away from you.
You can look forward to having these spaces on a Monday. I think that's good enough a reason to go through the weekend. Right, Mollen?
Sure, that's for sure. We'll be here and we'll be smiling and, you know, welcoming you back from either a tiresome weekend, a good weekend, whatever the case. we'll be here.
All right. Okay, well, we'll be having Good Morning Uganda Extra that will be coming in right after us. And of course, we can wish, and that is a Pan-African Friday, you know, the normal drill. Definitely, we want to wish you a lovely, wonderful Friday, but also have a very productive weekend. Remember, something is coming right here on Good Morning Uganda.
When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way because we are all different even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Alleluia Jingati drink and Alleluia Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Alleluia Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Alleluia from all shops around.
Are your children ready to learn? Schools are open. As parents and guardians, it is your duty to ensure that your children go back to school. COVID-19 prevention measures have been put in place to keep students safe as they go back to school. Not only do teachers prioritize everyone's health, including their own, but they discourage violence among students. They also ensure that students follow SOPs. Any concerns are reported to a school administrator or senior woman or man teacher for correction and further guidance. Dear parents and guardians, you too must play your role. Ensure your children always maintain a 2-meter distance from others, avoid crowded places, regularly wash their hands with soap and water, and wear a washed and clean face mask that covers their mouths and noses. Please keep your children at home if they're feeling sick, and take note. In our effort to keep students safe, there are no visitation days or any other school visits allowed. Let's share knowledge, not COVID-19. This message is supported by the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education and Sports, and UNICEF. Stay safe.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by.
Their job is to keep you and me healthy and well. But sometimes they try in vain.
How to get points? Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10#